Hi, I'm Nia.
And I'm Sydney.
And welcome to Whole Lotta Baka.
In this episode, we'll talk about Spy Family.
Spoiler alert, we will be doing a pretty deep dive of this season, so if you haven't watched yet, you can sit back and enjoy, or join us next week.
Alright, now let the Bakaness begin. Hello guys, it is October, this is the first episode that we are recording in October.
Yeah.
So happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Let's introduce our blankets. I have,
It's spooky season!
I have Jack Skellington, our favorite Halloween movie, or one of our favorite Halloween movies.
I have spiderwebs. Fun fact, I hate spiders. I absolutely definitely hate spiders, but I really like spider webs. So
I tried to have a spooky vibe going on. I got some flickering lights back here if you can see, Nia. I got a pumpkin, some cobwebs, a spider. Unfortunately, I blew a circuit, so my lights aren't working. My lights that are supposed to be plugged into the wall are not working. They're supposed to be purple, but imagine, okay?
You tried. It's the thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts, yeah. And I have a
I don't have
ghost
anything
with me.
spooky because, I'm living that broke college student lifestyle, so this blanket is the best you're going to get.
Getting the real spooky vibes here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Real spooky vibes, real inspiration.
Real inspiration. All right. So we're talking about Spy Family. A new anime that we just started watching, this summer? Because that's when it came out, right?
It only just came out this summer.
Yeah, it only just came out. So to start off, the whole premise of the show is he's a spy. He's a spy from... I don't think he's a spy from the West. He's a spy from some other place or some... I don't... Honestly, that part, I have no fucking clue which part he's a part of. I just know that he's trying to infiltrate a school and stop a war.
Which country is the school in?
I don't know.
I think the school is in the Westalis.
I think so too.
Or is it in East?
It don't matter. They're on opposing sides.
Twilight. I think Twilight is from Westalis.
I think he is too.
Yeah.
Either way, they're on opposing sides and they're trying to stop a war. That's about it, basically.
I think where the school is the opposing side.
Yeah.
From Westalis.
I don't know what the opposing side's name is. I can't remember it. I don't think that it's East, though. I don't think it's called
East Anya or something like that.
I don't think it is. I think it's some other... It is?
Yeah, it is. They were both I don't know. Maybe you're right. I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Because I didn't think that shit was that important.
I didn't either, and then you just brought it up. I was like, damn, I didn't study hard enough.
Spy Family quiz, go! Anyway, he's supposed to infiltrate the school, and I just think it's so funny that they're like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna have to find a family," and he's like, "What the fuck?" After he just went on this monologue saying that he does this for the greater good, and he doesn't need a family and all that shit, and they give him a call, he's like, "You a kid."
He's gotten rid of his identity.
Yep.
He's totally okay with just living a nameless life. Blah 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 blah. Has to get a family.
And he's just like, how am I supposed to do that?
And be convincing.
And be convincing, right.
You just get one, has to be convincing. It low-key reminded me of, and I know it's completely not related, but it low-key reminded me of We're the Millers.
Why?
Because he had to get a family.
That is true. That is kind of, but he doesn't get them the same way though, but yeah.
He did it the wrong way, and they do it the right way in this show.
They do. I didn't even think, when he said that he needed to get a kid, I didn't even think about the fact of going to a shady orphanage like he did and getting an orphan. I was like, that's fucking smart.
But I guess he did, but when he left with her, he did ask for to do the papers and stuff. He was like, whatever legal shit I gotta do, but the orphanage just didn't give a fuck. And I was so surprised. He walked in there and the kids were literally just on the floor, twitching. I'm like, what
over
the
there,
fuck?
rags and shit. But that's perfect though. If you're trying to get a kid with no background that nobody's gonna look after or look for, because with orphanages they come to the house and they do a walkthrough and shit. He didn't have to. He's like, I'm gonna go to
papers and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna go here. And even with those papers, nobody still would have cared about her. because of how shady the fucking orphanage was anyway. And he's like, bro, just fucking take her off my hands. I was like, is she that bad of a child?
I mean, they said that she got returned 3 or 4 times, and each time that I watched, I was like, what could she have possibly done that someone would have returned her 3 to 4 times?
Right.
Because I've seen her with, like, just from how she's interacting with Twilight and Yor, and she hasn't done anything, you know,
that would make
rambunctious, disrespectful, or anything that would make you want to return the child. She's done nothing but act like a regular kid.
Exactly.
And not even a bad kid. So, like, why was she returned 4 times?
She's a little quirky, and, like, obviously she's an Esper and shit, and so she reads minds, but, like, still, I guess that part maybe freaked people out, but that wouldn't have freaked me out. If my child knew everything that I was thinking, I would just immediately think that she does not hide it that well. I think Twilight should be smart enough to be able to tell that there's something about her that's a little odd, because throughout the entire show, there's multiple things that she has said and done that should have been immediate.
Yes.
There's something wrong with your ass.
I have been surprised so many times throughout this that they have not caught on to her yet. I'm like, she's just like, I mean, yes, she does watch the spy show and like she clearly like has an obsession with spies, but there's so many things that she says at the time that he's thinking it that's like ridiculously spot on. And then like there are so many things that have happened also that are just like, this can't be a coincidence.
At one point, I was watching this show like with my mom. Surprise, surprise! Literally, first anime that she's ever watched.
This is the first time we've ever heard Sydney say that. Usually, it's me watching anime with my mom. This is the first time we've heard Sydney say that.
Very first, and my mom actually likes it. She said my mom absolutely loves Anya and does not like Twilight, and I honestly don't think that she likes Yor either because of the fact that she thinks that
I don't understand why she doesn't like Yor.
This conversation came up because me, my brother, and my mom were all watching it, and I said something about Anya being dumb. And so my mom was like, she's not dumb. Don't talk about my girl like that. And I said, what do you mean talk about your girl?
I mean, what you calling her dumb? I'm on your mom's side. Because what you mean she dumb?
Okay, she's dumb in the aspect of, like, she's an Esper, and I feel like she could get farther with her power than she actually does.
But she's also been in an orphanage her entire life with literally no stimulation. She was literally just on the floor in a puddle.
That's true, but it's like, that's true. But Mama also thinks that Twilight's dumb. And I was like, okay, now I can't.
He is, because how has he not figured out that she's a fucking Esper by now? Like, I understand if you're in a world where you don't believe in that stuff, but like, you would be looking at this kid like something. I would. Like, even in our world where, like, psychics don't exist, if I had a kid who seemed like they were reading my fucking mind, I'm gonna be looking at this kid like, what the fuck? How are you reading my mind?
I agreed with my mom for saying that Twilight was dumb. For that exact reason that you're saying. But at the same time, it's like, we can all say that all of them are a little sus. I did tell her that. I was like, okay, I can understand you getting mad at me for Anya. She's like, she's a child. Like, how would she know that? I'm like, but being an Esper, I thought that she'd be a little bit smarter than what she is.
Also,
I don't expect her to be like a genius.
Like, he came in and asked for a 6-year-old, but she could read his mind and she knew to lie and say she was 6. I don't think she's actually 6. I think she's probably like younger. And if that's the case, that does make her smarter for her age. Because already when you're 6, you know, you're like, what, first grade or something like that?
There's other things that she's done that made me think she was dumb. But at that moment, yes, Anya was very smart. Later on is when I was like, yo, there's some things that are sus about her that makes her dumb to me. And so my mom was upset with me because I called her dumb. And then she was like, well, Twilight's dumb. I was like, you're not hurting my feelings by saying that. I agree with you. I think it's dumb that he doesn't know that she's Esper.
I hated him at first, but
really, I didn't hate him.
Not like hate him, but like I hated him for like what he was doing. Like, you're adopting this little girl from an orphanage, and you know everything that's going on in her head because, you know, it's like kind of from her perspective a little bit, and like, you know, her backstory, and you know how fucked up it is for you to adopt a child and form this bond with the child, like purposely form a bond with the child that you have no intention of keeping, that you know you're going to drop off later.
I think like, by that point, though,
you adopted them as a parent and you're just manipulating them. Like, it's so fucked up. Like, imagine how you will mentally fuck up a child by doing that.
At that point, or you're talking about the fact that she can read his mind? and she hears the things that he's saying. Are you talking about the information that he found out?
I'm talking about in general that he was even planning on doing that. That's fucked up.
He's a freaking spy. Remember, he already talked about how he doesn't care about having a family. He says all throughout the show, I will do anything that I can for the mission. If it means adopting a child and throwing that bitch off to the side, makes sense. Okay? Makes sense. Yes, it's a little sad. It is fucked up. No, for sure it's fucked up. I didn't think that it wasn't fucked up, but like, for his job, I can't really be all that mad at him for that. I can't.
Yeah.
But I thought it was so funny when he goes and he has to lock her ass up in the fucking apartment because he's like trying to go and do something. What?
He barricaded her in there?
Yes. And then she's like, oh, I'm gonna go in Chi-Chi's room, and she starts doing Morse code, and she immediately knows Morse code. Twilight is here at this location, and I'm like, Anya, why? That's the part where I was like, yo, you're being dumb right now. You're an Esper, and I feel like you should be smart.
That she knew Morse code to begin with.
But she's dumb to even do that, knowing he's a spy. If she didn't know he was a spy and she did that, okay, I understand. A child being a child, her knowing that he's a spy and she is a child, but like, you know, a spy ain't that. It's a serious job. It's a serious fucking. Don't do that.
I mean, but she's a child, so she doesn't even understand the severity of serious.
No,
like kids don't get it.
She was worked on in a lab, bro. I thought they would have put some smarts in her on top of being an.
I know. She doesn't even act like a kid that was brought up in a lab.
That's crazy to me. That doesn't make any sense.
I totally forgot that was like a part of her background.
She's more scared of Twilight putting her back in the orphanage than anything else. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, but you lived a life in a lab. You don't know your mother. Why are you only scared of Twilight leaving you? It makes no fucking sense to me. But I do love Anya. But she gets her ass kidnapped, of course. And it just makes sense that she got kidnapped. And Twilight comes back, and his spot on, like, precision to know that something was fucked with was crazy. Did you see how they fucked with the door? Because I didn't notice that. I didn't know what the cue was.
The way that he barricaded her in there before he left.
Mm-hmm. It looked the same to me, though. Maybe I missed something.
I'm not sure exactly how he knew, but he knew immediately.
Spy
I think by the time he got into the house, he, like, for sure knew.
Yeah. And then they, like, kidnapped him as well, which I was so upset by. I was like, you're supposed to be the top spy, and you got kidnapped that freaking quick? Like, really? But then,
they just have to show that look. They have to give that little... Because immediately after that, we saw him kick ass. Like, he got kidnapped by, like, 30 dudes. Mm-hmm. And he gets out. Mm.
But the way he was able to do it is, like, at first I thought the person that they, like, kidnapped was Twilight, but it wasn't. He was masked. And I was like, thank goodness. I was like, because you just ruined my thoughts on Twilight immediately, because I thought he actually got kidnapped that quick when he's supposed to be a top spy. But when they were like, oh no, he's got a mask, I was like, thank goodness. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then getting Anya out. And the whole, like, me and my boys, we play a game. It's called, like, what, hide and seek or tag or some shit. Like,
basically, I don't know, take this to the cops, you win, blah, 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 blah.
That type shit, yeah. And of course, her being an Esper, she's like, he's lying. Like,
he's a liar.
He's a full of shit. Full of shit. And he goes back and beats their asses up. All of this is for a toupee. Because you remember, they got pictures of, like, the prime minister with, like, his toupee sliding up. Yeah. All this work for a toupee. Mm-hmm. This is like, it ain't that serious.
This is life and death?
It is. What?
I said, this is a life and death scenario?
Yeah, this is a life and death scenario. I thought it was really, like, cute that Anya didn't leave, though. Like, when he was, like, kicking ass or whatever. Because it's like, you're the only person that she, I guess, like, sees hope in, number one. And number two, you're a spy. If she's an Esper and she fucking knows that, of course she's gonna want to stay with you. I would, too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Why would I want to go back to the orphanage? Like, I have some excitement in my life now.
If I already liked spies to begin with. Now I have a spy father?
Like, to me, it's like I've been blessed. Like, this is the best thing that could have happened. The universe didn't forget me.
I loved that part. Did you think that this was, like, the end of Twilight and Anya before, like, when he first was like, leave, go to the police station? Did you actually think that she was gonna leave?
No.
I thought in my head that she was gonna go to the police station, or she was gonna, like, run away and somehow find her way back to Twilight. Like, I thought it was gonna be one of those things where he thinks that he's parted ways with her, and he's like, I'm gonna find, because you remember he was like, oh, I'm gonna find a different way to bring this country down or whatever. I thought that that's what's gonna happen. I thought he was gonna go his own little path, try to find another way, and then Anya was just gonna somehow get back in his life. And then he's like, you know what, it's destined. I can't get you the fuck away from me, so I guess I will have to have you as my child. And then it would go back to plan A.
I mean, that kind of is what happened.
It isn't, though, because I thought she was going to run away.
Yeah.
And then a couple episodes she was going to come back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she stayed right there. I didn't expect that.
Okay, yeah, no, I didn't think she was going to run away.
Yeah, so I thought that's what was going to happen. It might have been cooler to see that, but it really doesn't matter because we got our boy Anya and Twilight together, so.
Exactly. And, like, so then, like, as a part of the mission, she has to pass the exam to get into, like, the super elite school that they have. Because, like, the whole part of the mission is he needs to get close. Who is it? It's not the prime minister, but it's, like, some other important figure.
Yeah, some higher up whose son goes to the school.
Yeah, his son goes, like, I guess, yeah, so he goes to school, and the whole, like, aim of this mission is to get close to him.
Yeah.
Because
if it wasn't for the fact that
he doesn't go out, like, he doesn't have very small circle, he only goes to parent-teacher conferences.
But yeah, he only goes to, like, elite parties of like, the elite children and whatnot. So, like, if it wasn't for the fact that that was the case for this dude, Twilight would have been able to get this shit over with in a week.
Yeah, on his own.
On his own, which he wanted to do, but they were like, no, you can't.
Anya's like 4 in reality. Like, he only needs a 4-year-old for the sake of, like, this entire mission. Get into the school, become friends with the son, go to, get on the same basketball team so we can be at the same meeting and I can get, it's like so many steps really, but like it's also in those steps is like 30 more steps because it takes so much just to get into the fucking school.
Yeah.
Or it takes so much to even get into this little meeting. You know what I mean?
You can't even just play, like, you can't even just do the mission. You have to play the part as a parent on top of that. You have to actually, like, present yourself. So that's a part of the 30 steps that you're talking about. And I'm just like, it's crazy that, like, Twilight says, like, oh, I'm not a family man. I've already, like, thought, like, I'm not going to have a family. I'm fine with that. But he's not doing that bad of a freaking job for a person who's
doing a great job at it, actually.
Yes. For never being able to, never being able to interact with people the way that, like, a normal freaking human being should. He's doing a good job because the life that he's living with Anya, he could have had her ass on a mattress, a piece of paper on the floor as her bed. But he's actually fed. Yeah, he's actually doing more and, like, giving her a bed and a desk and decorating it.
Giving her a dog, giving her a great life, making her actually going on adventures, having outings, like
he's actually doing everything that he needs to be when he honestly doesn't need to. He could have just been like, stay in the freaking house. You get this. You get bread and water every day for every meal. You don't get shit else. He making her breakfast and he's good at it at that. How are you good at cooking? You're a spy. Do you go home?
He had to pretend to be a chef. You never know.
That is true. Didn't think about that. I'm over here like, this man don't got a home. How does he know how to cook?
Don't got a home.
I mean, if you're a spy, you're like everywhere, so I didn't expect him to like have like a steady
You gotta
home.
eat wherever you at.
Right, he go out to McDonald's. That's his food. That's what I thought. I didn't think about the fact that he probably impersonated a chef at some point in his life and needed to do that. But
I mean, he could have. It's a very high possibility.
As a spy, it could have.
Yeah.
Him like going to study with her like a dad, like of course he was a little harsh with that. Like he expected her to just know everything just
but
because.
Honestly, even that part's realistic.
But he expected her to be smart because of the fact that she did the crossword puzzle at the orphanage.
Yeah.
But she was just reading his mind, obviously. So like he was like, what the fuck is wrong with her? Like why all of a sudden like now she can't do simple math when she was able to do crosswords and spell.
Right.
So like I can understand him being like really confused. And that's when he was like, I'm gonna just take her ass back and get another kid. Cause what is going on with this? And she's like, don't take me back.
Let me go check if I still got my receipt.
Yeah, I know it's in this garbage can here somewhere. I know it's here.
And then like you said, she's like, don't take me back. Like, first clue right there.
How do you know? How do you know that I want to do that?
Where'd you get that thought from?
I mean, actually, the first time, maybe. It would make sense. I wouldn't think that way because the fact that by this point he knows that she's been to different orphanages or not different orphanages, different houses. And so that makes sense. Like he's mad at her for not being able to do math. And she's like, wait, don't take me back, please. Like, you know, the littlest things probably triggered her. Every time after that, no excuse. I'll give him this one excuse, this one time, because that does make sense because he knows about her past at this point.
Yeah.
Any other time after this, how do you know exactly everything that I'm saying in my head?
Exactly. Every thought that I've had, like, you have known it perfectly.
Right. Like, come on now. That don't... Nah.
He's supposed to be so intelligent.
Right. And then we meet our bitch Yor. She passes the test. We didn't say. Yeah. She passes the test.
Also by reading minds, right?
Yeah. But she said... But it was like she was struggling to read the minds because there was like so many people around her. And she expected everybody else to be smart. They're over here freaking the hell out too. They're like, it's so hard, I can't do it. But surprisingly, she passes, but like barely.
Yeah.
She still doesn't pass. Naruto vibes right there. Barely pass.
No, Naruto didn't even try.
She at least had something up her sleeve that she could have done.
She put something on her paper. Like, come on.
Her name and then a couple answers. He probably didn't even put his name. For all we know. They just found the blank sheet and they were like, this is Naruto.
Right.
This is Naruto.
Assumed. It was in his spot.
In his chair. That's him. And then, like I said, we meet our bitch Yor, which...
this is my favorite part. Because Anya passes the test. And then they find out that he needs a wife for the second part of the test, and it's like non-negotiable. And to me, I thought that was so ridiculous because I'm like, they couldn't have lied and said that the mother was dead. But
I guess if it's like one of those elite schools, maybe if you don't have both of your parents, then like you're not like important enough, you know? Like
if my parent is dead.
Listen.
What if I had a super rich parent and they died? I can't go to school now?
Basically, that's what the school is saying. If you don't have both your parents,
that's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It is. But that's basically what they're saying. It's like, both parents have to be there. Yes, he could have lied, but he also could have like gotten one of the spy girls. But I think there was this thing going on where a lot of like the spies were getting like caught or whatever.
Yeah.
So like he wouldn't have been able to just get a wife that's a spy as well.
I guess so. I mean, I still feel like he could have. He got all them damn spies to do the scenario when she wins.
They were all.
I mean, not when she wins, but like when she gets in. So it's like you can get a spy for this.
I think they were all boys, though. I remember them being mostly boys, but also like you don't want to put like if you're already low on staff or low on like spies. Maybe you don't want to put two spies on one mission. When there's another way that you can do it or something.
Yeah, that's true.
I just don't know how they expected him to get a wife.
The person who he does get as a wife is a fucking assassin. What is going on in this country that you need spies and assassins?
Hey, a country that honestly I want to live in, because that's fucking dope.
It is fucking dope, but like you have two different. What it's like the CIA and the FBI, but like for assassins and for spies. I don't understand.
I'm gonna say, freaking the like police is like in your district. The FBI is like we're sitting back until the police needs us. Both the spy and the assassin are basically the police, but just different police stations
in the shadows.
In the shadows. What I hate is her coworkers. Like she's such a sweet girl, and they're such bitches to her.
That's usually how it goes.
She's the prettiest one out of all of them.
That's usually how it goes. This is so on point. That scene was too on point. That was ass bitches. Like their lame ass boyfriends, huh?
The only scene that makes sense in the entire episode.
In the entire show, it was the most realistic thing in the entire show.
And
they're talking about how she's getting old,
right? And they're like, I mean, you seem like a spy. If you're not married or dating by this age, you're a spy and you're gonna get turned in. I think that's also crazy.
The whole blacklist shit, like you're immediately on the blacklist because you're not dating someone.
And the fact that if you're not, you're gonna get like taken away and accused of as a spy. Is that not screaming Salem witch trials, Nia?
It's not like scream communists. You go kidnap the communists on the street. Like what the hell type of shit is this? What year is this? It's 1620.
You drank your water a certain way. You're a witch. You can't bear children. You're a witch.
I knew she was a witch. She's have a husband and she's 15.
Like that shit doesn't make any sense. And I'm just like, so if that's the case, why aren't women just getting married? Just be getting married. Like why aren't not
you see how easily she got married? And then my thing is, so it's more suspicious for her to have been single than for her to have suddenly had a husband and a whole child.
But like she like blows it off as
less suspicious. Like now you feel okay about her.
What blows my mind is that like she just says, "Oh, I've always had a husband," and they're just like, "Well, why didn't you tell me?" I'm like, so you just even if this was true, even if you then had a couple, you let these bitches torture you for how long? And you had a husband this entire time? They've talked so much shit.
They've been talking shit for a year.
They've threatened to tell her brother that she wasn't married. And she didn't say, no, I am married. She's just like, yeah, go ahead and tell him. Like, what the fuck?
No, that was when she was like, no, I have a boyfriend that I'm going to bring.
But it's like, still, they were bullying you for how long and you don't say anything about your boyfriend and just say like, oh, he's just a busy man?
That's my point. Like, it's so much more suspicious for her to suddenly turn up having a husband and a child than it was for her to be single. And everybody's like, oh, what a sweet family. Oh, how sweet. Oh, how sweet. Like, it's not weird. Y'all been seeing, y'all saw her last week at the fucking Taylor. And she was crying about being single, asking where to meet men.
I think that was after that, though.
After what?
After they were talking shit about her?
It was after they were talking shit about her. It was. But still, she still ain't had no man then.
And I know what you're talking about. I know what scene you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know exactly. Okay. I thought you were talking about the people she was working with, not the Taylors. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. You saw her at the Taylors last week. She didn't say, y'all were talking about, oh, do you have a boyfriend, Yora? Do you have a boyfriend? And she says, oh, no. And then all of a sudden she does.
Comes in literally the next day. Talking about, I need my dress to be fixed with her husband and kid.
But what doesn't make any sense is that she meets Twilight at the same Taylor
shop. I was just about to say the same thing. Thank you for noticing. I was so mad about this.
It's not like he walked in and just picked up something. They knew who he was because of the fact that he has he's memorable. He has a child. She's cute. She just got into an elite school, and they were talking about how, oh my God, congratulations for getting into elite school. So it's not like he's just like some random passerby that just drops his stuff off and picks it right back up and doesn't talk. He's a memorable person. You're gonna remember him.
You remember adorable single dads coming in, picking up their daughter's Taylor.
Even if you are 60 years old and it's dried up down there, you remember.
Especially if you're 60 years old and it's dried up down there.
Like, what?
They're the first ones to notice.
And then the fact that, like...
Then you got this young girl coming in. They're also the first ones to notice that. A young, single, pretty girl.
But she's been coming to the tailor.
And they've been asking her if she has a boyfriend, if she's dating anyone, if she's single. They've been asking her.
If she likes anyone, even that.
They come in the same day. They're on two completely different sides of the fucking store. You see them accidentally meet. Next week, they coming in together, getting clothes made. Talking about they married for a year.
And then daughters already call her mom. What? That does not happen.
No.
That does not happen at all. That shit was so
that alone would have made me think her ass was a spy. The fuck? I tell you, it's weird, and I think you're a spy, and the next day it's fixed. That's sus as hell.
Like, and then the fact that their goals lined up, and he's like, hey, I find it to be so weird, because if I was at the grocery store, anywhere, and a man came, well, say I'm a man, because say I'm the man, and a woman comes up to me, and I tell to her, I need a wife just for this interview. Can we fake a marriage? Are you not, as a woman, Nia, if I was talking to you, as a woman, wouldn't you be terrified? Wouldn't you be like, why?
You know, after I just watched the Dahmer tapes, yes, I would be terrified.
No more meeting people. No more meeting people online, in person, nothing.
No more meeting people.
Nia, you are my only person.
I don't know anyone else for the rest of my life.
No.
People who I know now, that's it.
Like, honestly, let's get married and then we can just we can get the benefits of being married together. Because I ain't marrying nobody after that shit. We'll have an open relationship. But even then,
you guys heard it here first.
Because I ain't having no friends and dating nobody else.
That's the whole purpose.
But like, yeah, would you not be terrified? Yes. No, like, I would not agree to that.
It's weird. It's weird for him. It's weird for her. It's weird.
Like, okay.
And then they're living together. It's one thing to agree to that situation, but to move in together and literally be living like you're a whole married couple after you just talked about this yesterday, that's a little extra. That's a little
like, I understand, like, if he was just like, I just need you to come to the interview. Right. I just need you to come to the interview and act like
you're my wife. That's different.
Right. You don't have to come to our house. We can sit and talk through drinking coffee at a coffee shop about what you need to do as her mom, and that's it. I'll never see you again. If they do ask about, like, if you do bump into somebody that we both know together, just, lie. Say that you live with me, like, say that we're doing good, yada, 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 whatever. And I'll do the same. And we don't ever have to see each other again. And then I understand her situation because, like, there are people that, like, I guess there's people that, like, buy wives or, like, what are they called? Oversee wives or whatever. What?
Mail wife?
Mail order brides. Mail order brides. But I understand, like, people having a boyfriend, but the whole wife situation, the whole husband situation is a little far-fetched. But having somebody, like, that you know or that you just met kind of, like, be your boyfriend just for this occasion, that makes more sense. That. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah. Hers, I can justify. Him, I cannot. I cannot.
He's a spy.
And they were just so open with it.
That's the only justification.
And then, like, when she goes to the party, obviously, like, the girl is like, I'm going to tell your brother. And she's like, why do you have to do that? You don't need to do that.
When you get out of doing that.
Right. And then he comes all bloody and they're like, oh my gosh. And he's like, oh, my patient just got a little rowdy and beat me up real quick. Another scene that made me think, how do y'all not, like, get an idea, an inkling of each other, is when he stole the paintings or whatever, and they were walking, and he was like, oh, I'm going to propose to her now. And the people are chasing after him, the people that he stole the paintings from, and he's kicking ass. He's got a gun and everything. Like, what the fuck? And
that's happened more than once. And each time she's like, oh, it's my patience.
She roundhouse kicks one of his patients. And she's like, oh my gosh, was I supposed to not give him a treatment? He said beating them up was treatment. She's like, oh my gosh, I gave him a treatment I wasn't supposed to. And she's like, oh, I take self-defense classes. Self-defense classes don't teach you that. Her leg went completely around and kicked him.
She's taking I forgot that one class that they teach you all that shit, but she's taking fucking taekwondo, boxing, like the whole shit.
She could have said that. I would have.
What makes no sense,
made more sense.
Like you said, is what makes no sense is that neither of them have figured each other out. Twilight's supposed to be so fucking smart. You don't think it's fucking weird that Yor can do all this shit and has some superhuman strength? And Yor doesn't know that he's a spy either, and he is always doing such spy shit. Like, where he gets this, everything that they have, he just be getting out of nowhere. She don't ask no questions.
At that point, she hasn't seen like all the things that he can do. So I kind of get her, but like, she just told me self-defense classes. No. If she had said taekwondo, like you said, I would have believed that more than self-defense classes. But I wouldn't have thought that Twilight was a spy. I probably would have thought he was like a gang member. When she had like the gun and they were like shooting at him and stuff like that, he's like shooting back. Like I would have thought he was a gang member.
Like a gangster mafia.
Yeah, he's a part of the mafia. Like, but for her, I'd have been like, yo, you a spy. I don't know. I just feel like the way she kicked him was very spy-like. Very spy-like.
Very trained since birth-like.
Yeah. But, so they go to the interview, and already, like, it's not... Oh, actually, love this scene. They have the old man watching them. They have all the people watching them or whatever. Walk into the school, and they're like, the dude's like, elegante, that bullshit. And he's like, oh, I don't know them. Like, let's see if they're elegant. And he's like, literally fiending over them because they're paying respects to the statue. And then, like, the boy in the mud. And they're like, there's no way that they're going to help that boy because their clothes are going to get dirty. They fucking come out with a whole nother fit. They're like, we prepared, we planned for this. And he's like, what?
It's so elegant that you prepared.
Yeah. And then the bulls come running through the bulls and the cows.
The whole thing was so extra. It was so extra.
And they're like, hold on 1 second. We prepared for this too. Whole nother outfit, all three of them. And then Anya over here talking to the cow. She's like, it's okay. You're scared. You can go now.
I know.
Isn't that the weirdest family you'd ever met? And then the mom was roundhouse kicking the fuck out of a cow.
Talking about elegant. I would be like, who the fuck are these people?
This is not elegant. I'm scared now. I'm scared. I'm terrified.
No, seriously. I would have been scared. Because how have you prepared for all of it? You've prepared for the cows too?
Right. To get, like, getting your clothes dirty by, like, a stain of, like, eating food, understandable. Cows, bulls, animals, the whole animal farm coming out the wazoo.
But this
and it wasn't even planned.
Like, the part about judging them as they walked in, I actually did understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like, being in the part of the elite and all that is, like, pure appearances. Like, all of it is, like, how you look and, like, what other people think about you and whatever. So that part actually made sense. It was super extreme, obviously, but that part actually made sense. And then there are other interviews that they did when they got inside where they had, like, the board of administrators there. I hated that one because they had the one guy who was supposed to be, like, the son or the guy who inherited the school or whatever. And he was such a dick to them.
He was such a dick. I wanted to choke him out.
And they were talking about, oh, he just got divorced for cheating on his wife, and that's why he's so bitter. And I'm like, okay, you cheated on your wife. Why are you so bitter?
Why are you bitter about other people's happiness when it's your fault that your marriage is over?
The point that you'll say to a child, which mother do you like more? After they just told you her old mother died. Who says that to a child?
Like, it doesn't matter which one's better. Like, clearly, if Anya is so young, she might not even fucking remember her mother. So it's like, you're asking me which one. Regardless if I remembered my mother or not at that age, it's a touchy subject because if I didn't know my mother, I didn't fucking know her. That makes me upset. Mm-hmm. If I did know her, that makes me upset. Regardless.
Even if she wasn't dead, it's going to make you upset because my mother's not here. Like, clearly there's a reason my mother is not here.
Right.
And that's going to be a touching subject. And you just because bring it up nonchalantly, and then you have the nerve to try and judge them based off of that.
And just because she gets emotional does not mean that she likes her real mom more than you literally cornered her to make her feel a certain way. She's going to cry regardless. Even if her mother was a crackhead and was on the street, she's still going to cry because of the fact that her mom isn't in her life.
Exactly.
Like, and he's like, look at this, she likes her mom more than you. They're not qualified to be here. Like, just because of what? And then I loved this part as well because you see that Twilight actually does love Anya. Like, he can't hide it. Because if he really didn't give a shit about Anya, he wouldn't have done anything. He would have been like, yo, chill out. This is my kid you're talking about. But for him to get so angry to punch through a table and break it.
Yeah.
And yours over here trying to calm Twilight. She's like, no, Twilight, it's okay. Or not Twilight. Lloyd Foyger. It's okay. And he's like, absolutely not.
On the one, and just with him talking about how he would do anything for his mission.
Mm-hmm.
And he was willing to do that for the sake of Anya, risking the mission.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that definitely said a lot for how much he loves her.
Yeah, even though literally 2 seconds before any of this happened, even before he asked the question, he was thinking about the mission. And then 2 seconds after that, he says one question and he's losing his mind over that. And then they just leave. And he's like, see, look, y'all don't need to be in the school. Da, da, da. I was like, that's bullshit. I was like, I hate you for that. Luckily, they were able to still kind of get in, but they were on the waiting list.
Yeah, I love when the headmaster punched him in the face, though.
Yes. Oh my God.
That was my favorite part.
And then he's like, oh, you're I think he said something about his dad because the dude that he punched in the face, his dad, is the guy that Twilight's trying to get, I think.
No.
Is he not the owner of the school?
He is the owner of the school, but the owner of the school is not who Twilight's trying to get.
Oh, I was really confused by that because when they went to the interview, they talked about him being the son of the owner. And then when they went and I think it was before this. You know how it might have been after. They were lining the kids up and Twilight was talking about, what is that boy name? Damien Desmond, the son of the guy he's trying to get. He said that was his second son. So I just thought in my head that the dude that got punched is his older brother.
That's that man.
Listen, it happens. It
does happen. It does happen.
I was about to say he could have had him really early, at 15,
but no. His father is the owner of that school.
Yeah, I was getting confused. I thought that Damien Desmond's dad was the owner, and so that was his first and second son that we saw.
Damien Desmond's dad is some political.
Yeah,
leader. I don't know what he is, but he's a political something.
Now that you've brought that to my light, we are going to see the first son in the second part. Hopefully.
Probably. And they said he goes there. We know that this school goes from kindergarten or first grade up to 12th grade.
12th grade.
So he could be in any grade, honestly.
Mm-hmm. He could. Oh, now I'm happy that we're going to see him because I really thought that man was his brother.
He's probably a shithead like Damien is. But Damien's a shithead because he's rich. But deep down, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, you could tell, like, I mean, and that's kind of what you expect of, like, a young boy whose ego's just been fed from the time he's been born. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, he's going to act like that. But Anya is, like, changing that the way he sees himself. Like, it's giving him a wake-up call that he's not really the shit like he thinks.
Mm-hmm. It's all just learned behavior.
Right. And I like the way him and Anya's relationship is, like, evolving.
Developing.
It's
yeah,
cute.
I like that too. I didn't like that Becky girl. I think her name is Becky. The one with the pigtails that's like right behind Anya in the line.
Yeah,
and like
I think so too.
Emily or Becky or something. It ends with a Y. But it ends with a Y. I can't remember.
It's Becky, I think.
I don't really like her very much. I think she gets in the way. Obviously, I don't like her because she gets in the way of Twilight's mission, and I don't like that. And I just think overall, she's annoying.
I mean,
it makes sense.
I don't care for her either way. It's not that I like her or I don't like her. I don't think she's relevant. You know, I understand that Anya needed a friend, but like she's not relevant for sure. So
I think she just bothers me when like she's like when the first day of school when Anya ends up punching Damien or hitting him or something like that. She like kind of. Ever since then, she like every single time she would get in the way. So like when Anya was supposed to say sorry, she kept getting in the way. So like that part, I was like, I need you to leave.
True, but I understood it at the same time. Like,
no, yeah,
saw it, it's like that's likely how it would go in school.
Yeah, it would.
Because like when you look at, she's really trying to stand up for Anya against him. You know what I mean? Like that's real. Like she's trying to be a good friend. So like. I don't like her. I don't dislike her. I just think, you know, she's just Anya's friend, you know?
It still just gave me anxiety because I know, like, what the bigger picture is. And so that's why I'm like, oh, if I didn't know the bigger picture, then, like, she would have just seemed like a regular-ass friend to me, you know, doing that shit.
Exactly. And I think that I enjoy their friendship because of the fact that you know there's a bigger picture. And so it's like, you want to see Anya create this friendship and have a friend who's looking out for her, but at the same time, you're over here like, get the fuck out of the way. She has a job to do. You know what I mean? And so,
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
It gives you a different aspect of their relationship, and I like that too.
That's how I felt.
It's a funny aspect of their relationship.
I felt like, get the fuck out of the way. But like,
it's a funny aspect.
Frankie's a little, I don't care about Frankie Frankie, whatever the frick his name is. I thought it was funny though, when he like came over and was like, oh, but like Anya passed her test. You need to do something for her.
I know. Because he's like the main one who will be like, oh, they're not your real family. Like, don't get so attached, blah, 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 blah. But then he'll also be the main one hyping Anya up.
Right. And then he's like, what's one thing that you want done? And like Anya's like, I want to be a part of the TV show. And I'm like, okay, that's a little on the extreme. And it's crazy that like Twilight wasn't just like, can we do something lesser? You know, I'll still do something grandiose for you, but like that, like, is a lot. And the fact that you're trying to like, and the fact that you're trying to like, not blow your cover, you're trying to stay low. I know she knows that you're a spy, but you don't know that she knows that. So it's like, why wouldn't you do something more dad-like? Mm-hmm. Renting a castle when you're supposed to be a middle, like, you know, middle class psychiatrist? Right. You're supposed to be a middle class. You don't have money like that to rent a castle and then get all these people and all that stuff.
Fireworks, speedboats, like, huh?
Right. That just doesn't make any sense. I fully expected him to be like, oh, I can't, well, daddy can't do that. Daddy doesn't make that much money. It's like, you're supposed to be not blowing your cover as a spy. You're doing it right in front of everybody's eyes.
In his defense, like, a 6-year-old, even if she were 6, a 6-year-old would not know how much money a psychiatrist makes versus how much money anybody else makes. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what they're thinking about. But it doesn't make sense for the fact that he's trying to hold up his appearances to everyone else. Like, Yor was drunk, but like, were you really so confident that she wasn't going to remember any of this?
Right.
Because I would have remembered it if I was drunk.
For sure. Like I'm not a crazy person. I'm just drunk.
Exactly. Like, my brain didn't leave my body.
Yeah, me being drunk is not a 24/7 state of mind. Me being crazy is a 24/7 state of mind. So, like, anything that I saw could have not been real or not. But me being drunk? Come on now. And then,
and
like,
no one's gonna look back and be like, I'm not sure, but like, weren't we running from spies and like in a castle and flying in a blimp and doing all this?
And I was the boss. I was the last boss. You were supposed to fight me and win to save Anya. Like, and Anya would have, like, my thing is, once she got sober, if she asked that question, Anya would have 100% been like, yeah, that all happened.
Yes.
Twilight would have tried to lie, but Anya would have been there like, no, it did. I thought it was so funny when every single time Twilight got closer to Anya to saving her, she's like, Chi-Chi, save me. Papa, help me. Like, so nonchalant. And I'm like, aren't you supposed to be, like, acting like you're in the show? Just like
in distress.
Right. He's fully acting like he's in the show, just as you.
He was so cute.
It was so funny. And he was like, what is the one thing Anya wants right now? And he's like, I think he said, like, peanuts or, like, to watch the show or something crazy or something minute, whatever. And she goes, I would like some water because I'm thirsty. And he's like, ha! You don't know anything about her. And I'm like, water?
He's like, how would I know that?
How would I know that? I don't.
I know. I think it was like...
That was like, that's a child's mind.
I think it was he wanted her to come save her that he said.
Oh, I don't know what it was. I don't know what it is. I just remember it being like a substantial answer that makes sense. Mm-hmm. That her answer didn't make any fucking sense. It's like, okay, that's the brain of a child, I guess. Yeah. Like, she's gonna literally say exactly what's on her mind of what she wants. And she wanted water. Such a simple request. Like, you couldn't.
I know.
It's so cute, honestly. It really is. Mm-hmm. But I think it's really crazy that everybody's like, oh, the Forgers aren't like they're not rich and da-da-da. And I'm like, if only you knew. Technically, they are.
All what they did on their weekends.
Right. They're technically the richest out of all of you guys.
They are the elites.
The elites. Like he ain't just no psychiatrist. I know you think that, but he's not.
He get in anywhere.
But yeah. I think it's cute.
My favorite part of this whole season. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was going to talk about like how we actually do get a moment where we see like Yor and Anya together.
Oh yeah, I was just about to skip completely over that. Okay, go ahead.
And they go to because like Twilight's got other missions to do. They're working him like a fucking donkey. And he's like, hey, I need you to do this for me with Anya. And she's like, yeah, for sure. Excuse the motorcyclist that wants to go by. Anyway, excuse you. I was talking.
Oh, it's so loud here. This is what happens when you move out of the South.
Right, it's quiet.
I know.
Rustling of leaves.
I know. Here is everything. You hear everything here.
You hear a little... That's 3 houses over. A knock 3 houses over. Anyway, like I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by the motorcyclist.
Sorry.
What was I going to say?
What?
Oh, I remember. We have a moment with Anya, and I think it's weird that Twilight's like, oh, I need you to do this one thing for me. And I'm like, technically, she's supposed to be playing the role of the mom. So, like, wouldn't you just, like, I don't know. It seemed more of like a request, like a friend. Like I'm requesting my friend to do something with my daughter as opposed to her mother doing it. Like he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I can't do it with her. I can't do it for her. I need you to do it. It's like, that's supposed to be her mother.
I think it's probably because of the fact that like, even if it's like a step parent, normally the child still does things with the real parent more. You know what I mean?
That is true. That is
like
true.
not saying that the parent isn't involved.
Right.
Just that, like, normally they're going to do it with their real parent.
That's true. I understand that.
Yeah.
But I liked this scene because they go to the grocery store and she's like, don't run too far. She leaves. There's, like, these thugs that want to, like, kidnap her, basically, for, like, ransom money. But they think that Yor is just, like, the nanny because they're like, rich people don't grocery shop for themselves. And then they try to steal Anya, and Yor comes out of nowhere and almost bashes in the head of one of the people trying to kidnap Anya. And the leader of this group is like still cocky.
Right.
Like, just see, your partner almost died from a foot to the back of his head.
No, it wasn't even that. It was with a grocery bag. She used the grocery bag of food and knocked him out. Yes. That's how hard she hit him with a grocery bag.
He's knocked out cold.
Like, he's out cold.
He was just so, he's like, you're just the help. And she's like, I'm her mother. Like, don't you fucking dare. I was like, you are a piece of work. If you think that you just witnessed that and she wasn't going to kill. Are you blind? Are you blind?
Like, whether she was the help or the mother or not.
Right. She was still going to defend this child. Like, you think that she was just going to be like, oh no, please don't. Like, no. I will fight an alligator for the child I'm taking care of, whether it be my own or not. Wrestle an alligator.
Right.
I ain't scared of you little thugs. The fuck?
Yeah. That part was so funny to me. I mean, it was really crazy that, like, you're gonna kidnap a kid to sell their uniform, but, like, you know, I guess
they were gonna do ransom money at first. It was gonna be ransom.
He was talking about how much money their uniforms go for.
Yeah, he was gonna do that too, but the first initial thought was ransom.
Oh.
And then they were also going to sell the because I think they asked Anya, like, oh, Anya, like, you know, there was something that changed it to them wanting to now sell the uniform. Maybe it was both of them that they were going to do anyway. Ransom and sell the uniform. I was like, this is kind of sick because she's a child and you're going to make her strip in front of you? I don't like this.
No.
I'm so glad that they saved her before she was able to take her clothes off. Thank goodness. It scared me.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite part? You were about to say your favorite part. What was that?
My favorite part is when Yuri comes. When they have to do this whole charade to prove to Yuri that they've been married for the past year. And you get the whole backstory of her in Yuri's childhood, and it's her coming home covered in blood all the time.
And he's like, oh my gosh, what? Is this your blood? Nope, it's not mine.
And it's so funny when you listen to him explain it, and because he's like, I swore I was going to protect her. She was always coming home covered in blood. I'm like, the poor boy grew up traumatized,
thinking that his sister was dying.
When you really think about it, huh?
She would tell him. She'd be like, it's not my blood. And he wouldn't even ask any further. He wouldn't be like, oh, whose blood is it? He'd be like, okay, like, as long as it's not yours, I don't care.
He'd just be like, what?
Like, and then
when you say that.
And then we also get, like, Yuri's job, where he works for, like, the detective agency or something like that. Like and he's an interrogator,
basically.
Yeah, and he's, like, an interrogator or whatever.
For the KGB. He basically works for the KGB when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally what it is.
He does. Yeah. And so he's basically trying to find Twilight. And little does he know, his dear older sister is married to him. but like, obviously Twilight
precious
knows.
irony.
Yeah, precious irony. Of course, right. Twilight knows who Yuri is because he's a spy. He can get literally dirt on anybody if he already knows the person. Like, you know, as opposed to Yuri's not going to expect his sister's husband to be like the person he's looking for. So,
you know, I was surprised though that he didn't like try to dig up information on him before he showed up to the dinner. Like, you know, getting his name and pulling up his whole profile. I was surprised by that.
That is true. As we've already seen with the Breyer family are not the smartest people. Like, you would think he would be smart enough since he's a part of the secret police. He's an interrogator. He has the resources to do shit like that. But, like, I don't know. It's
not the sharpest tools.
Not the sharpest tools in the book. Nope. At all.
No, I don't understand. But I love Yuri. He's fucking hilarious. Because he gives you, like, he gives you these creepy, obsessed with your sister vibes that you get from anime a lot. But it's not in a way where it's like, because at first it made me think of like Terahashi from Psyche and her brother, and I can't stand her fucking brother.
Right.
Whereas here, I actually love Yuri.
Because I think it's more like it's more protective on his side than it is whatever I forgot his name. Because they're so
even though you do see him in his flashback talking about he wanted to marry his sister or whatever.
That's what every child wants to do. They want to marry their dad, their mom, like people that they can't marry. They can't legally do that, but they don't know. So that makes sense. He's more protective. Exactly. He only wants the best for his sister. We've already seen that he wants the best for his sister before this even happens, when she's on the phone with him. And he's like, oh, I won't take the new job position. You know, I'll come visit, like all this stuff. Like he really does care for his sister, not in like the super creepy way.
Right.
What I thought was so crazy is that he's like, oh, if you like, this is such childlike behavior right here. Oh, if you guys are married and love each other so much, kiss each other.
Kiss right now
in front of me. Like what? What are you, like 21 years old?
First of all, why would you want to see that?
Right. I gag when we see our friends kiss.
Like, why? Why do you want to watch your sister and her husband kissing?
When you already are hell-bent on not liking him. You already don't like him just because like, he's dating your sister.
Right, like you clearly have some weird thing going on already, but even as not a weirdo, why would you want to see that?
Exactly. And then I don't understand why they didn't plan for this, why they didn't think about this. They thought about moving in together. They thought about if somebody were to come over, they need to conjoin their rooms together so it looks like they just love each other and all that stuff. You didn't think about the one thing that couples love to do the most? Is kiss each other, and then the extent of that. And then Yor has never kissed anybody. I was like, you're so pretty, but it makes sense because like, you're an idiot. So you've never had a boyfriend and have never kissed anybody. And
so she's like, awkward.
I was told that it tasted like lemons. It would pair well with this fish we cooked for dinner. I said, what?
Literally, I was like, huh?
Number one, who told you it tasted like lemons?
I'm like, what are you hearing this from?
Who are these people kissing? A lemon? That's the only thing that makes sense is that they're kissing a lemon.
Lemon grab.
What is lemon grab? Oh! I will not accept this offer! I'm literally about to start crying. Oh my god!
That was too on point.
I have not seen Adventure Time in forever. Oh my gosh. Okay.
That was so on point though.
Like literally, like, they're kissing lemon grab to think that a kiss tastes like lemons, number one. Number two, to think about pairing it with the fish that you're eating. Number three, again, you didn't prepare for this.
The way she chugged the bottle and then still was about to knock him out.
Like, and he's like, wow, you have to be drunk to kiss your husband? And I'm just like, oh my god. Why? Why is this happening? I really thought they were like low-key about to be like outed.
Yeah.
At that moment. I was kind of scared.
Yeah.
I really was. Because I was like, the one person that would like basically make this whole thing fall apart would be freaking Yuri. And honestly, I wasn't thinking that Twilight said, why don't we just tell him what's going on? And honestly, I think that would have not been that bad of an idea, because then he would know, okay, well, then you're not with my sister because you actually want to be with her, I guess. You're with her for a mission, but then again...
No. I doubt they would have told her they wouldn't have told him the mission part.
Yeah. But for the mission, that would have been good. Because then it's like, okay, you're just doing it for the fact of you need a mom. Like, you don't actually love my sister. You don't actually care. Just get on with what you got going on, and maybe
I feel like that would have been worse.
What?
Because they're living together. So I feel like that would have been worse to tell him that.
I guess, yeah. I think the living together part would have like thrown him over the edge. I think knowing that he just needs somebody to be a mom wouldn't be hard for him to hear. But the whole living together, they have to act like they're a couple, like that would have really killed him.
Yeah.
Really. Poor Yuri. But I love Yuri.
I know. I can't wait to see more of him.
I know.
He's so funny. The way he was walking home with like the blood gushing out his head.
I know. And he's got like the whole big thing of flowers and like she ends up like smacking the fuck out of them.
And I want to see Anya meet him.
Oh yeah, we didn't. Oh man, she completely forgot about his ass when she woke up at first, but then she realized that the person that they were talking about is the secret police. I honestly think Anya has the best seat in the fucking house. Like, yes. I would love to be
tea. Drinking the tea.
Like, just everyone is spilling. Full of secrets, and she got all of the deets.
Yes, all of it.
I wish I was Anya, honestly, to like know that my uncle is a secret police, my mom is an assassin, my dad is a spy, and I'm an esper, but nobody knows that.
Like, what?
This is straight out of like an Addams Family book. Like, literally, that'd be so cool. Honestly,
that would be really cool. So interesting.
But like we see more of like Damon, Desmond, and Anya.
When they play volleyball.
They played volleyball and how she's like supposed to say sorry, but by that point she's already said like sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And they get wrecked by Bazooka Bill.
That shit was hilarious to me that they had this grown ass man as a child. It was so funny when they did the flashback with him as his dad, and he's like, "Daddy," I was dead.
I think what's also wild, what's wild is that you have the higher ups looking over this, and I'm like, and y'all don't find that to be a little sus that he's literally 6 foot tall and 100.
Like his father's clearly pumping him with steroids.
Like he needs to be the cheerleader. Yes, he needs to be a cheerleader. He needs to sit down like something, but he don't need to be participating. He's about to kill these kids. But Anya's like obviously her esper abilities help her a lot. With like, because he's like, I'm going to throw it to the left. And she's like, I'm going to move to the right. I'm going to move to the left. Boom. And he's like, how is this possible? This is how you know that he's never lost a game of dodgeball in his life.
Having a whole mental breakdown.
A little pink-haired girl.
Literally having a whole mental breakdown.
And then I think this is when like Damien really starts to like fall in love with Anya. And I'm like, like
I know when he made a little sacrifice for her, even though he wanted to get the Thunderbolt.
I know, which they weren't playing the game for the Thunderbolt either.
He was like, what are you talking about? There's no Thunderbolts for fucking volleyball.
Yeah. He's like, where did you come up with this lie, this rumor? Which, I mean, they were going around saying that, like, if you win the game, you can get a Thunderbolt. I don't understand why he can't get, like, a Thunderbolt, I guess, or they can't get a Thunderbolt, because they said you can get a Thunderbolt by academics or sports. They're in kindergarten.
That's just a regular day in gym, I guess. Because if you're going to have a regular day in gym and you're going to play dodgeball every week, then you're going to have to give a star out to somebody every week.
No, nobody said that they're doing dodgeball every week.
Any game you give? Any game you play?
Yes, you give it to the person who wins the game. So Anya won dodgeball.
The same person winning every week. Because you're going to end up having more athletics because you don't take a test every week. So you're not being, and you don't get a Thunderbolt every time you take a test.
We don't know about the tests. They could. This is an elite team.
Tests.
Yeah. So if you
no one's gotten Thunderbolt. She's the first person in her class to get a Thunderbolt when she saves that boy from drowning.
Oh, that's the other reason that you can get a Thunderbolt. But maybe they haven't taken a test. Maybe that's why it's so rare. That's why they said academics, sports, or charity work that you can get a Thunderbolt. So they could have been able to get a Thunderbolt. I don't understand why they wouldn't give them one opportunity through here, because what other thing are you going to do physically that you're going to get a Thunderbolt for? Because they're in kindergarten. In kindergarten, a lot of kids aren't doing sports. First grade, right? Yeah, they're 6. I thought they were kindergarten.
They're first graders.
Either way, a lot of first graders aren't doing physical shit like that. So it's like, if you're not, if it's the same kid getting a Thunderbolt every week, that means that kid is physically strong, and that means that you need to focus on your academically strong suits or your charitable suits. Like, that's the whole point. Like, that's what Twilight's trying to do. He's like, okay, if you can't win it academically, if you can't win it physically, you can win it through charity work. And that's like when they go to a YMCA or something. I don't even honestly
like a
know.
hospital.
Was it a hospital? Oh, that's right. It was, because the boy was sick or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That one that,
like a broken leg or something.
Broken leg or something like that. Yeah, that was a hospital.
And he had to do physical training, which they do in pools.
Yep.
And he fell in. She was failing at everything else. I
think that the caregiver should have gotten fired for that, because why do you not have your eyes on this one boy with a broken leg? He can't go that far. He's in a wheel. Is he not in a wheelchair or like on crutches?
He was on crutches, which is even worse.
No, I think the wheelchair would have been worse.
Because he would have rolled in.
He would have rolled, like, why are you rolling in the pool with the fucking wheelchair? So the wheelchair is worse, but it's like, either way, he has a crutch. And he's gonna go slower than if he didn't have a broken leg. So how did he get that far away from you without you knowing?
That's your left him. Job. He was like, oh, I'm gonna go put my bathing suit on. Bitch, you should have had your bathing suit on when you got to the fucking pool with the child.
Right, if you're dealing with a child,
yeah.
That's 100% agree with that. Unless you're with an adult, then you don't have to, but if you're
regardless of if the child is crippled or not, you don't leave kids unattended by pools. Everybody knows that.
She should have gotten fired.
She should have. You work in a hospital and you don't know that? Yeah, that's crazy.
Should have gotten fired. But I think, okay, this is another thing where I feel like Anya should be able to play the game well, like, more well than she does. Like, the way she alerted Twilight was such a, like, dead giveaway, where she's just like, she hears him drowning, and instead of just being like, Daddy, I want to go see the pool again, can we go see the pool? She's like, I don't even remember what she said, but I just know it was dumb. And like,
she said a boy's drowning.
No, she didn't.
She did.
No, she didn't.
She mentioned
that would have given it away that she's an Esper. How would she know that?
She said somebody fell in the pool, and he was like, "What?" And then she changed it up really quick, saying she wanted to go see the pool, and then she just ran and left.
Oh, okay. Well, then her reasoning was dumb. That's what I'm saying. Her second reasoning was dumb. Honestly, at that point, just say that you're an Esper. Just tell people. Tell him. Because it's like him. Or just be like, Daddy, this way. Like, I feel like she could have done a little bit better, because of the fact that she's been this way for a long time. I was like, Anya, please learn how to give hints without being so obvious if you're trying to stay on the DL, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Please.
I feel like she'd be able to, like, he'd be able to utilize her power so much more, like, if he knew about it.
Yes, he would. 100%. Because it's like, now there's a reason for her to stay. Like, she could literally do anything, and he wouldn't get rid of her, because she's such a valuable, not even just the fact that she's a child and she's in the same class as the person that she's trying to get. She's more valuable than just that.
Like, he could raise her into a spy, and now you have a valuable psychic spy.
And you love spies. You want to be a spy. Like, why don't you just, tell them, let them know? She's almost slipped up a couple times.
Yeah, she has.
And I really just wish that, like, in the next, like, the part 2 of this, that she just outs it. Just be like, you know what?
I'm really wondering how long this is really going to last.
Yeah.
It's like, we have multiple seasons of these obvious slip-ups. That'll piss me off.
Like, I think, because it's bound to happen. Either she does something that's really, really extreme, that he's like, okay, there's no way that you would have known that. Which I think she's already done things of extreme, but, I'll ignore those. But she's going to do something, and somebody's going to notice. Either the right people are going to notice, or the wrong people are going to notice, and that's bad, obviously.
Right.
Or she's just going to flat out tell him. I think it's going to be more so the bad people find out. And they're going to, like, try to, like, take her or something. And, like, use her for some shit. And then he's going to have to, like, find out some way to be like, no, like, that's not...
Or maybe whoever was experimenting on her in the first place are going to try and come get her again to, like, that's because that's their product, basically.
Yeah. That is true.
I can see that.
Yeah. Those are two very good, like,
the whole thing with the Hulk, how they always go back after the Hulk because, like, they own him. They spent, like, millions of dollars making him. So I feel like it could end up being the same thing with Anya.
Them actually not that bad. I haven't watched the new episode yet, so...
I did.
I know you did. I know you did, but I haven't watched the new episode.
I also watched My Hero. Did you watch My Hero?
Nope, I haven't watched any of them. But I really am curious to see if like one of our like things comes up about, or maybe like there's a mesh of the two or some shit. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But it would be perfect if they just knew about each other. I don't see where them knowing about Yor would benefit anybody.
Other than the fact that she's a kick-ass assassin.
Yeah, but like actually beneficial, not like, oh, it's just cool to say or cool to have a spy mom, but like actual beneficial. Not for them specifically, since they're on a mission basically together.
Just the fact that I think they fit together so perfectly well. Like, if he was going to start a family with somebody, there would be nobody better for him to start a family with.
Oh, for sure.
It's definitely fate that he even met Yor in the first place.
I cannot wait for them to fall in love. They're already liking each other. I cannot wait.
Just the way they proposed, I was like, oh my god, I'm obsessed with you guys. Like, please
fall in love. Please, and then the fact that like he bugged her at one point because he thinks that like she's in on Yuri because like obviously he knows about him being secret police, and he bugs her and he like disguises himself. And he's like, you need to give me that document.
He feels bad for it.
Yeah, he feels bad for it, and she's like, I love my I don't know. I don't think she said that, but she basically like defended both of Yuri and Twilight, and it gave Twilight the idea that she's not a part of Yuri. Like whatever Yuri's got going on has nothing to do with her. She has no idea. So I was like, oh, she loves him. And then even Anya's like, oh, mom and dad are flirting. Mom and dad are like each other. Mom and dad are fighting. Mom and dad made up. Like, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for them to do more things that it's like, you love each other.
It's so cute. I love it.
Here, okay, a scene that made me mad, not mad, annoyed, is when motherfuckers don't mind their own business. And when Twilight nosy neighbors, when Twilight caught them old ass grannies in the hallway talking about, he's probably out there cheating, you know, he doesn't love his family, he's not a family, I'm just like, there are many people out there that he's a psychiatrist, bro, like he probably has like patients all throughout the night.
He could have been an actual doctor. Actual doctors like have very hectic schedules. Like there are plenty of jobs that you have where you cannot be home at the time, especially if like you're the breadwinner. I mean, like I said, I don't remember what country that's supposed to live in. That's not a norm everywhere, but like, you know, if he's supposed to be from the West, whatever, I feel like it's supposed to be representing like the West.
America.
And that's like, all right, like that's normal for here. Like the breadwinner is out.
Yeah, like I've heard of doctors where like they don't get Christmas with their family. Like, yeah, you know, they get like, or if they do get Christmas, they get like 2 hours of Christmas with that person, and then they have to immediately go back.
Right.
Like, that shit happens.
Being like home early during the week, or like not having to work over the weekends, and actually having like the free time to do family things.
Yeah,
like that's rare for a lot of people. Not for everyone, but like for a lot of people, that's not like a normal. So for you to be like, oh, he's out there cheating, blah 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 blah, because he didn't come home. Like, it's not like he didn't come home. It was like he came home at like 8:00.
Right. He came home later than when you eat dinner.
Yeah. Instead of when you think he should be home.
Right. Like there are times where people just have to work later sometimes, and they're just like, he's doing this and he's doing that. He doesn't even. I don't ever see that child. I don't ever see them leave the house. Da, da, da. I'm like, but they've been living here for months, and they actually have been doing things. Right. It's just
like you watch them like every second of every day to know when they leave the house and do things and don't.
It's been like probably like a week. He probably went on a whole bunch of missions and got really busy for a week.
Yep.
Not even a couple months, a week.
Yep. Maybe 2
weeks.
And
they're already accusing him of cheating.
2 weeks max.
But like, I just thought that was so annoying. And then they were like, immediately he comes in, he's like, we're going out this weekend.
He's on the verge of death.
Right. We're going to the aquarium because people are talking shit and I'm about to be outed as a spy. We can't have that. Then when they showed up at the aquarium, I was like, I already know what's about to happen. I already know how this shit's about to go down, because we already find out that he has a mission at the aquarium.
When they followed him to the fucking aquarium, I'm like, these fucking people.
I thought about the fact that they could have just followed him.
He told them they were going to the aquarium.
But
And at that point of time, they were not like, oh, so are we. They just popped up at the fucking aquarium.
I didn't even peep that. Oh.
Yes. These motherfuckers popped up at the aquarium to prove and see for themselves if he was actually a good father. That's how nosy these motherfuckers were.
I didn't peep that. Makes sense. But, like, it's so funny because, like, he's like, we need to get away from them. Like, I already know what's going to happen. Like, at this point, we know that, like, he's got another mission at the aquarium. And so I was like, he's going to try to get away from them. He can't get away from them. He's going to have to go back and forth. Like, I already know this spiel. It's happened before. But the fact that Yor was like, oh, come join us, just because he was like, we need to, like, act like a family. And she was trying to do her best by saying, like, come with us, like, come, walk around the aquarium with us. And he's like, fuck. I shouldn't have said that.
No, literally.
And then getting that for him.
Oh my God,
the file out of the penguin's throat. Like, that shit was crazy. Did you really need to do all that? Did you need to shove the file down the penguin's throat? That was a little cruel for them to do.
Animal cruelty.
I didn't like that part.
The way though that like they did that whole thing where Anya was onto it and she pretended to get kidnapped.
Oh my God.
She manipulated the fuck out of Yor. Like, knowing damn well her pretending to be kidnapped was gonna make her turn into a psycho killer.
Because she had already done it before, because it had already happened before. She's like, help, Mom, I'm being kidnapped. As she's dragging him on, he's like,
the man's like, what?
He's like, I'm trying to run away from you. You're attached to me. I don't have you.
So funny. I'm like, they honestly are the best trio. Like,
they are. I'm like, you guys, like, just please tell each other who you guys are, so that y'all
could have fucked his mission up if it was not for them.
Right. I'm like, kick ass, the three of you guys.
Yes.
Please.
Be like the Incredibles. You're just a family. Like, you do this as a family.
For real. Like, seriously.
Yes, literally. Like, that just dawned on me. Like, that's what they would be, the Incredibles.
And the fact that now they have a dog. They end up getting a dog. And the dog is
getting married. That means they'll end up having an actual child of their own. They'll have a little Jack.
But I'm talking about the fact that the dog is super smart. Yeah. Yeah. Super smart psychic. I mean, they can go hand in hand.
Okay.
Like, he already, like, envisioned Anya in his head.
Yeah.
And whatnot. And so they ended up getting him. And I'm like, ooh, this is a really nice family. It is exactly, like, the dog is basically Jack. Mm-hmm. And she's Violet. And then whatever kid that they have is Dash. Which I'm excited for. I cannot wait. Please.
I know. I hope that's the direction that they go in. Because, like, you can't just break them up as a family. Like, they have to stay a family. So clearly it's going to go in I mean, that's the name of the fucking show. So clearly it's just going to, like, continue growing in that direction. And I love that concept so much.
I know. I can't wait.
10 out of 10 show. 10 out of 10 anime. It's like a slice of life, but like a comfort anime, but like low-key action, but like low-key comedy, and low-key romance.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those shows where you don't have to really pay attention, like the slice of life kind of, like, you don't always when you watch others like AOT, like you have to pay attention.
You have to.
This one, if you've watched it before, not really. You know, you can get the gist of what's going on every episode if you do miss something. So I like that. It's a lot easier to watch in that way sometimes.
Yeah.
So can't wait to talk about it next. Well, the week after next, not next week.
Yes, next week is Naruto.
See you
then. Designated Naruto blog. Our never-ending Naruto.
See you then.
Huh?
I said see you then.
Oh, yeah. Bye.
Well, that's a wrap on this week's episode. We hope you enjoyed our discussion on Spy Family, and we hope you come back next Wednesday. Next episode, we'll talk about Naruto episodes 59 through 79.
Don't forget to connect with us at bakahanasu@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, this podcast, at A Whole Lot of Baka, info in the show notes below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.
Bye.